Good afternoon, YouTubians. So I wanted to show you a more budget knife this time round. I showed you a more expensive one last time. You always get people that say, why would you waste that kind of money? Why is the blade steel important? Is blade steel important? There's people who collect budget knives only that think expensive knives are stupid. There's people that collect the super expensive knives that think buying budget knives is stupid. So you're never going to please everybody, and there is no one authority within this hobby that should be telling people what to buy, what to like, and how to behave in this hobby. It's an individual thing. So let's get to the knife. It is a budget knife from Rough Rider. It's a Rough Rider Barlow. This is part of the carbon series, so you've got the black micarta scales, which I really like. They've got a bit of texture to them. They're going to be hard wearing, very nice. They fitted the shield nicely in there. You'll have to excuse my filthy hands. I've just been working on the car. And then you have their T10 carbon steel, as opposed to the 440A you would get on most of the stainless Rough Riders. Seems to be pretty good for a carbon steel. Not quite up there with the 1095, I don't think, but in these budget knives, 440A, T10, that kind of thing is what you're going to expect. Apologies, the cat's making a racket in the background. So you have that T10 clip point, very nice. The Rough Rider R stamped into the bolster. You've got that nice blue line between the scales and the bolster, and that is repeated at the back as well. It's quite nicely put together. For a budget Rough Rider, there's no real gaps to speak of. It was quite dirty when I got it. It took a lot of cleaning out, didn't have much of a walk and talk. It's much better now. It's been cleaned and a bit of oil. So you have the main blade, and then you have a secondary little pen blade. It's nice that they went to the effort of putting that swedge in the top. Pinch bolsters. It's just everything's done nicely. I think these were under 20 quid. So what more can you ask for? If you want a cheap little pocket knife, I can recommend that. And there's a lot of talk at the moment on blade steels. Is it worth it? Is it not? Well, it depends on the person, doesn't it? If you, like me, have lots of knives that you can rotate daily, this will, if all I'm doing is opening a few boxes, cutting a few bits of string, then of course 440A is going to get me through the day, as people say. But if that's going to be your only knife that you're carrying every day, and you don't want to be sharpening it multiple times a week, then 440A or T10 or something, one of these budget steels, is probably not going to be the right one for you. Yes, there is a lot of truth in what people say. It's more important the design of the knife, whether you like it, perhaps even blade geometry or edge geometry, depending on what your needs are for that knife. But that's not to say that blade steel isn't important. That would be ridiculous. It's like saying a car's engine, the type of engine isn't important. It's more important whether you like the look of it, or whether it's a 4x4. But of course the engine will come into it at some point. So it depends on your needs. Do you need it stainless? Do you need a tough steel? Do you need something that you're not going to have to sharpen repeatedly if you're heavy using it? All those things need to be considered, as well as the design of the knife, the blade geometry, edge geometry, all that type of thing. So that's just my 2p worth. I like this little knife. I don't carry it all that often, although I've just started a new job, and it's not really a knife type of place, so I found myself carrying this a lot. One that I criticised for being a bit overpriced because of the fitment of that shield and the 440C, but as people pointed out to me, GEC's stainless version is 440C. I suppose that that is designed for the little jobs like cutting tags off and what have you. So I will be carrying more of these smaller type Barlows. I wish this was a single blade, actually. It's a bit thick. And I'd rather something slim like that Boca Barlow to take into work every day. But overall, you know, I'm impressed with this series. I have their carbon whittling knife, the Seahorse Whittler as well, and that's a great little whittling knife. You do get some bargains from Rough Rider. I mean, obviously, all of this is just my opinion. I don't get paid for reviewing any of these knives. Obviously, just look at the viewing figures, and you know, I don't get free knives sent to me. So you can trust that what I'm saying, my opinion, is my honest opinion about the knife. And it's not always positive, because there's not always positive things about, or there's sometimes negative things about a particular knife, and I will point those out. I'm certainly not going to tell people what they should be buying, what they should classify as a good knife, you know, whether they should take blade steel into account, any of those things. I am just an end user. The other thing I wanted to quickly show you while I'm on the more budget end is some knives that I bought from AliExpress recently, and they're brilliant. We have the cheapest one. These are under $5, and if you pay a little bit more, you can get a whole bag full of refills, and they're just little metal bolt action pens. It's nice and smooth, nothing wrong with it. It writes really nicely. The refills, very nice. Glass breaker on the end if you ever need it, but under $5, and that tends to be what I carry when I'm not at work or I'm not dressed up or anything, and I've just got jeans on and going about my business. Then that tends to go in my pocket with a knife and a hank, because I carry EDC every day. Another one that I bought, I think this was about $15. It is all metal, and it's a fountain pen. How nice does that look? It's had loads of comments. Look at the detail on that nib, if I can get it to focus. Come on. Look at the detail. Hero something. But that, again, writes very nicely. And at work, if I'm going into meetings or going to a site to visit clients, what have you, taking that and a nice notebook is really nice. And that was about $15. The other one that arrived the other day is this brass one. I think this was about $10. Not as keen on the bolt action. I don't know why it goes up there and then there's this extra bit there. But overall, it's a nice weighty, it's made out of a solid piece of brass. It was pre-aged. I rubbed a bit of that off with polish because I like stuff to patina naturally rather than a forced patina. Again, you've got this glass break on the end, nice sturdy pocket clip, under $10. And I mean, as part of your EDC, if you're carrying a brass scaled knife, or I tend to carry it with my copper EK3R or whatever it is, and I carry that. But again, that writes very nicely. It's not quite as smooth as that one, I wouldn't say, but then I've only just got it. You can hear that one's a bit scratchy. Probably my least favourite of the three. But I thought I would throw those in as well. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're collecting knives, probably collect EDC stuff as well. So I thought I'd throw that in. So there you go. There is my 2, 3, 4 budget items to satisfy the budget orientated. I will bring the next one soon. Ta-ta.